She was born unwelcome. She turned that into a blade. Blue Eye Samurai is not about crowds. It's about a heartbeat, a breath, a single pair of footsteps on a frozen road. Meet Mizu, outsider by sight, invisible by design, blue eyes in an era that feared difference. So she hid in plain view, hair cropped, voice held low, name wrapped in silence. The world called her a stain. She answered with steel. Loneliness carved the outline. Focus filled it in. She learned young that noise gets you killed. So she made quiet a habit. Counted grains of rice, counted strokes of the whetstone, counted the seconds it took to vanish. Training was not a montage. It was starvation and grit. It was the taste of iron on the tongue, hands blistered, cooled, blistered again, footwork on packed dirt until ankles burned. 1,000 cuts alone in the dark, 10,000 more before dawn. She studied more than swordplay. She read faces like maps, measured rooms without looking, listened for breath behind doors, waited, always waited. Every door slammed gave her a reason. Every laugh sharpened her focus. She took the insult and folded it, like steel folded in flame, layer by layer. Hardness, then flexibility. Strike, then yield. The blade in her hand matched the one inside. She made a list, not of chores, of men, foreign names that left bruises on the land. They brought coins, guns, and poison. They left shame and rumors. One of them is her father. All of them are targets. She decides to become the ghost that hunts. No banners, no clan, just a goal that never sleeps. Her first kills are clean, not glamorous, not loud. Knife against lantern light, a cut timed with thunder, a step that erases footprints before they form. Then the world notices. Whispers travel faster than carts. A blue-eyed swordsman. Is it a man? Is it a curse? She doesn't correct the rumor. Let it spread. Let it make room for her shadow. Along the way, a voice breaks the hush. A cook with one good hand and two good eyes. Ringo. He wants to help. He wants to learn. He wants to belong to something. She resists. Companions are compromises. Compromises get you killed, but loneliness has edges too. It cuts on the inside. He follows anyway. He learns to read the weather in her silence, when to talk about soup, when to shut up, when to hand her a rag before blood drips. He becomes proof that focus isn't always solitary. Sometimes focus is a tether, a promise that pulls you back from the cliff. Mizu meets mirrors everywhere. A noblewoman dressed in silk, trapped in ceremony. A Kemi. She can't swing a blade, but she cuts cages with words. 2 women, 2 prisons, both sharpening keys in secret. Then comes Taigen, pride wrapped in perfect posture, a duelist who thinks mastery lives in applause. Steel meets steel, force meets calculus. Mizu doesn't overpower him, she outmeasures him. An angle here, half a breath there. She clips a belt, not a spine. Ends a fight without an ending a life. Focus isn't just killing, it's choosing the exact cut that shifts the world. We see the forge, not as backdrop, as church. Charcoal breathes, bellows heave, steel blooms orange, then white. Hammer falls to a rhythm tighter than a drum. Fold, strike, quench, steam screams. Her face never changes. She tempers the sword. She tempers herself. Enemies dress in velvet and power. Wine stains their teeth. They laugh like safes that never open. They collect people like coins. Mizu steps into their circles like a draft. Candles bend, games stop. Some think she's a trick. Some think she's beneath notice. All of them learn the same lesson. Underestimation is her favorite doorway. Fights aren't brawls. They're arithmetic, 1 against 6 in a market. She turns stalls into barricades, hooks into levers, fish scales into ice. A blade flashes once, twice, then she's gone. Only silence remains, only questions. Loss finds her anyway, even mastery bleeds. A mistake costs flesh, a friend pays a price. Grief knocks, she doesn't break. She files herself down sharper. Loneliness keeps pitching its lie, that you must do it all alone. Focus tells another truth. That attention is the rarest fuel. It burns clean. It lasts through storms. Mastery in this story isn't trophies. It's control of temper, of timing, of when to speak and when to vanish, of when to spare and when to finish. The road stretches, winter to spring, villages to courts, salt air to incense. She keeps moving, because the list is not complete, because the shame of her birth is not hers to carry, because the people who made her a story are still breathing. But watch her eyes. They change, a fraction, around Ringo's jokes, around Akemi's courage, around a child playing with a wooden sword in the mud. There's a softness she refuses to name. It doesn't blunt her. It steadies her. The question grows louder than steel. If you win alone, do you win at all? If you cut every thread, who bandages your hand? She answers the only way she knows. One step at a time, one breath, one decision, stacked on the last. Loneliness lit the furnace. Focus drew the blueprint. Mastery shaped the edge. She carries them all, not as burdens, as choices. Blue Eye Samurai isn't just revenge, it's craft, it's discipline. It's a person deciding the story ends with her hand, not her hurt. In a crowd, she stands apart, not to be seen, to see. Everything, every escape, every weakness, every way forward. When the blade returns to its scabbard, the room still hums. People exhale. Only then does she move. A rumor walks into the night. A girl once called a mistake, now a measure of fear. And a lesson. You can be alone without being hollow. You can be focused without being cruel. You can be master of more than a sword. You can be master of yourself. She leaves before thanks can form. Cold air, night birds, a heartbeat that won't slow. Her shadow is thinner now, not because she's weaker, because the path is clearer. Loneliness follows like a stray dog. She doesn't chase it off. She feeds it discipline. One step, one breath, one cut that only happens when it must. Rumors spread faster than dust. A woman with winter eyes. A quiet storm wrapped in cloth. Men laugh until they see the scabbard. Then they remember errands or prayers. She does not collect fear. She collects proof. That focus can rewrite a name. Across provinces, the rice changes flavor. The faces do not, suspicion. Then awe, then silence. She learns the silence of each town, the notes of its market, the cough of its drunks, the creak of its gates at midnight. Mastery is not louder steel, it's quieter footsteps. A child tries to follow once, wide eyes, questions like arrows. Teach me. She ties his sandals tighter, points him toward morning, sends him home with a coin and the memory of safety. Compassion is not a burden, it's a boundary. On a ridge, wind tastes like iron. Snow starts before the leaves finish dropping. She watches a ring of bandits circle a cart. She counts their impatience, sees the leader's hands, soft, unused to work, used to cruelty. She steps in only when one blade tilts toward a throat. Quick, clean, no speeches, just choices. The cart keeps rolling. The world doesn't applaud. Good. Noise blunts the edge. At an inn, a paper lantern hisses against rain. Her tea goes cold. She stares at a map that exists only in her head. Names like stones. Weights she chooses to carry, not to drown, to throw when the water stills. Once, she thought hate would keep her warm. It didn't. Practice did. Flashback. A blade so heavy she had to grow into it. Knuckles split in winter. A teacher who spoke in tasks, not praise. Balance a bowl of water on her palms. Walk until her arms stopped screaming. Then walk further. Cut leaves without touching the branch. Listen to the cut as much as the leaf. No crowds, no chorus. Just time. And the kind of privacy that hurts. Loneliness taught her to hear the tiny betrayals. the exhale before a lunge, the scrape of a liar's tongue, the tremor in a wrist that hides a knife. She stops a merchant with a smile too slick, asks for a price twice, hears 2 answers. She lets him live, for now. He doesn't know he's already given her the road to the next door. Focus makes openings. Focus says no. No to sleep. No to vengeance that feels good but ruins the plan. Under moonlight, she practices with a branch. Not because she needs to, because mastery is a habit, not a moment. By morning, she's someone else. Hair pinned the way a servant pins it, eyes down the way a nobody looks. She drifts into a courtyard with her tray and her act, watches men laugh with their armor off, notes where they put it, which angle the guard hates. People underestimate the invisible. She made invisibility her craft. In a storage room, she kneels to pour tea and reads a secret while pretending to wrestle a cork. A letter with a seal like a wolf's grin, a name circled in neat foreign ink. Her fingers do not shake. Her breath does not speed. The body follows the mind she trained. On her way out, a drunk reaches. Too familiar, too bored. She tilts the tray, spills apology, spills a sleeping herb. It wasn't meant for him. But life prefers improvisation. He snores before offense can bloom. She steps around him like a puddle, rooftops, tiles slick with last night's rain. A slip is a lesson, so she doesn't slip. She lands in a garden of borrowed quiet. The world smells like pine and ink. She breathes both in and leaves with neither. Later, behind a burned-out shrine, she stitches a thin cut. No flinch, no talk, just thread and patience. Blood is not dramatic when you've seen a river of it. Now it's a note, a reminder to move smarter. She hears a lullaby from the house next door, a voice too soft for this world. For a second, the blade inside her goes weightless. She waits it out, breathes tight until the moment passes. There's a lie she can't afford. That softness makes you slow. It doesn't. Attachment does. She buys broth from an old woman with ash on her sleeves. The woman asks no questions, blesses her tea instead, the kind of grace that makes you want to cry for no reason. She doesn't. She bows, leaves a coin too heavy for the cup, and takes the rumor the woman whispers like a prayer. Another foreign face passed through, with soldiers, with money. Focus isn't a prison. It's a doorway you lock behind you. She finds the trail at a bridge where the river keeps secrets, wagon ruts, boots that bite deep, a horseshoe that's lost a nail, details most people let rain erase. Her eyes hold them like treasures. Loneliness clears the shelf. At dusk, the road breaks into a fork. She chooses the one that smells like gunpowder and velvet. Wealth and violence travel together. Night again. Cicadas grind the edge of the dark. She counts their rhythm, moves between their song. A new city rises like a challenge. High walls, polished gates, laughter that costs someone else their bread. She slips inside with the early vendors, blank-faced, back-bent, carrying nothing but time. The man she hunts likes mirrors. He buys them. He stares into them. He hopes they'll answer him. They won't. She waits where reflections gather, a hall of glass and lies. Every angle shows a different her. Calm, cold, tired, hungry. She smiles at none of them, walks the line between. The guard on the left favors his right leg. The maid in blue fears thunder. The scribe hides ink on his cuffs. She stores all of it. This is mastery beyond the blade. Reading weather inside people. When she finds his room, it smells like foreign flowers and old power. He speaks too loudly, as if to force the world to hear. He talks to a man with a scar and a ring like a brand. She listens with her back turned, perfectly still. One breath for each lie, names lock into place, dates, routes, a ship that sails at dawn with a hold full of nothing but reasons to burn everything down. She could go in now, end a chapter, open a wound. She waits. Focus says, take the ship, not the man. cut what feeds him, not the hair he